Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Tillis.
Can we take a minute off Senator Schiff, since I'm joking, since he took an extra minute? I'm joking.
Yes, you can. You wanted to say something to Senator Schiff?
No, sir, I asked if we could take a minute off Senator Schiff since Senator Whitehouse
went
took an
over by a
extra
minute.
minute. I was teasing. I'm sorry.
Okay. Senator Tillis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I wanted to come back, and I'm glad I did because I got another mark on my bingo card. QAnon came up. It's a little known fact, but the so-called, I think I heard someone say that that's a cabal that has cannibalistic tendencies. I don't know if y'all know this. It's a well-documented fact that the so-called QAnon shaman is a vegetarian who actually had to be transferred to another prison to satisfy his dietary needs after being sentenced to 41 months in prison. So I don't know if all the QAnon people are cannibals, but it's a little bit absurd. I just wanted to add a little levity here and let y'all know I'm one mark away from hitting bingo. Yeah, but you know, it's important to talk about this, folks, because this is the part I don't like about the big committee. I love intellectual property subcommittee because we don't get into this theater. But it's just absurd to think that, and it was mentioned in reference to a comment that Kash Patel made, who I spoke with earlier today. You know, it's just absurd to kind of throw that stuff out there. Does anybody honestly believe someone with a distinguished career like Kash Patel thinks that a cannibalistic cabal controlling the internals of government really exists? Let me give you an example why I resist that notion. I resist the notion that most of the members here, who all raise tens of millions of dollars through Act Blue, that has a subpage that only until Senator Butler finally told them to take it down after I spent a year ranting about it, on their Act Blue, a subpage on Act Blue had the all cops are bastards subpage and fundraising drive. I came to this committee for a year and tried to encourage my members to say, this is absurd. So would it be fair for me to say that President Biden is embracing an organization that thinks all cops are bastards and you should have a fundraising run for 13.12 miles and protest outside of police departments and put pressure on them? Saying that President Trump or you or anybody else or somehow or Kash Patel have an allegiance, it's so absurd to think in a big hearing like this. We actually just talked about that we actually think someone of the stature and the experience that would come before this committee would actually think a bunch of people-eating cabals controlling the innards of government was real. That's just being, I get the theatrics, I get the marketing department thought it'd be really cool if it was said, but guys, that's not us at our best. And I just thought it was kind of funny that he's a vegetarian too. But I want to go back to, this is a narrative that people are going to force, and I'm going to trust you to do what you do as a prosecutor. Like you said earlier, you're going to examine the facts of a case. You're going to give the president your best advice. If you, I cannot believe if there is compelling evidence that you as a prosecutor know that this person breached the Capitol and injured a police officer, that the president would even ask you to consider it. And I certainly can't imagine you recommending that they move forward. It's a hypothetical. I don't want you to respond to it, but your track record as a prosecutor would suggest otherwise. Last question. You mentioned that when you were dealing with some of the opioid challenge, I think it was opiates, Oxycontin, I believe you mentioned, that you went up against your own party or you got some pushback from your own party. Would you explain how you have looked at your party and done the courageous thing of speaking truth to them?
Oh, I remember when that started. Several of my former colleagues are behind me. They're probably smiling, but I remember when that started, I said, "Oh, I'll never get elected to a second term," because yes, I fought for what I believed in based on meeting these victims' families and seeing the need, and I fought the industry. Whew, that was a big industry, and the doctors.
You were in an elected position with a lot of people with a target on you, and you stood firm. Thank you.
More than once, Senator. Thank you.
Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. Attorney General